Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I'm going to have a little coffee chat with you guys while I wake up this morning. And I want to talk to you about personal trainers who put all their clients on machines with no apparent structured program, instead of actually teaching them basic barbell exercises that would actually give them better results towards their long-term goals usually. And a lot of people are going to jump up and say, well, it would scare off clients, all this other stuff. And you hear that excuse a lot, but then when I've gone to certain gyms, a perfect example, the last 24-hour fitness I was at, I was doing a lot of training before I built my home gym. They had a big functional fitness area, and when I looked around, I saw that a bunch of the trainers there were teaching people squats, deadlifts, the overhead press. And for a lot of their cardio, they had them doing, what we call functional fitness. And we could argue about the merits of functional fitness, as it's called, because it has become a bit trendy. But as far as GPP work, that stuff goes pretty well. And they had them messing with a bunch of kettlebells and doing farmer's walks and pushing around a sled a little bit and stuff like that. So, again, pretty decent stuff as far as a lot of that goes for just getting the average person in shape. But, over the years, we see a lot of trainers who don't teach these things at all. And even worse, some of them who don't even know how to teach people how to squat correctly, right? They don't even know how to teach them how to squat. And that's one of the things that needs to be understood. If you're going to be a fitness professional, of all things, in fact, I'm going to go so far as to say if you're teaching your bros how to train in the gym, if you actually have friends or family who you're going to teach to work out, you probably have an obligation to learn how to perform these exercises correctly, because you're wasting their time if you don't have them build a foundation on the basics. You all know that. And yet how many guys do you see who work out when they are in there trying to teach their girlfriend even or something, they can't even teach her how to squat correctly. They don't know how to squat. And they're going to end up messing them up long term, and they're going to end up, again, giving them inferior results. So something I would say is that if you want to teach other people at all, you need to go do some basic reading. Hell, read starting strength at the very least. At least something like starting strength. Get an idea of how to perform a basic barbell squat yourself, how to teach other people before you start teaching other people things, right? It would be a very, very good idea. But when we come to the point of people who are doing this as a profession and they're self-professed experts and they are making their living teaching people one-on-one, and they don't know how to perform the basic movements, the most effective movements, as far as time economy and gym time economy, they're not professionals at all. In fact, they're not even qualified to be teaching people. But you do see it. You see a lot of them in there who they have their people on machines and cables and everything else and doing all this fluff and pump, but they can't seem to get them over to a barbell. And oftentimes it's not even a matter of weakness. And it's not even a matter usually of their client not being able to do it, because again, we see coaches who work even with elderly demographics out there who actually do know what they're doing, who have them squatting and deadlifting in no time. Taking 60-year-old women, 60-year-old grandmothers, and getting them under a squat bar and putting them on a programmed progression. So that's kind of a point that needs to be made, that if someone really wants to be a fitness professional, they at the very least need to know how to program a proper training protocol. They need to be able to teach the basic exercises. In other words, if you cannot teach the basic barbell exercises and you have managed to get through all the steps involved to become a trainer, and you've actually been training people now for weeks in person is your normal job, and you haven't gone and spent a few hours doing research on how to teach basic exercises, you're incompetent. You're not qualified for your job, and you're quite frankly stealing money from the people who are giving it to you. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, a lot of people who hire a trainer just basically want a friend. Well, that might be true, but they are paying you to get them into shape. They're paying you to teach them how to exercise and work out correctly, which means that it's your job to teach them how to do real movements that are going to give them the most bang for their buck, the most safety, it's going to strengthen the most muscles through their body, going to give them the best bone density, the best improvement in body composition, all of these things. That's your job. And if you don't know how to do that, you're not a fitness professional. You're not. You're not. You're pretending to be. Because you read some stuff in a bodybuilding magazine on a bro split. And yeah, I'll definitely say that. Most clients who are hiring a personal trainer are novices. 95% of people who are willing to go pay a trainer are novices. And very, very few of them are anything beyond that. And if they are, you're probably a specialized trainer, in which case you better know this stuff. But again, when you see trainers who are in there doing this, that's what novices need to be doing. Why would you have novices do anything but the most effective basic movements? Why wouldn't you help them get the best possible results? And so you'll see them doing all this silly fluff and pump. And then when you see some of them out there who do try to teach them how to do something, you see them with a squat bar with the pussy pad on it, with it set all the way up on the top of their traps, and letting them do half squats. And again, me seeing that from people who are claiming to be fitness professionals, who are allowing their clients to do that, who can't teach them how to squat, who can't take a week or two to get their mobility in place where they can get to depth, who don't know where to place the bar on top of their back for either a high bar or a low bar squat, so then they put the pad on there. You can't teach them how to keep a neutral neck on a deadlift. Can't teach them how to not use the arm pull on the deadlift, letting them do touch and go reps. I mean, all this other dangerous, silly nonsense. When they do it, you do see some trainers who try to do these things and they can't do that. And that kind of shows us the problem is that the personal training profession as a whole is incompetent. I'll go so far as to say that anyone who's probably been watching my channel for 6 months is probably more competent than the average trainer at this point to teach people. Yet they're making their livings doing this, and it's a racket. It's a racket a lot of times. And I'm not talking about the guys who do know what they're doing, because I have seen personal trainers who do know. I think even at the last gym, I met one of the guys who's a 500-pound raw squatter. Does Olympic lifting, does the power lifts, all around strong, knowledgeable guy. Now, he's over there teaching his people over in the functional fitness area on nothing but barbells. And obviously that guy's clients are going to get great results. I'm talking about this majority of other personal trainers who don't. And what you see a lot of people who are caught up in the bro world, the bodybuilding world, who do mostly fluff and pump themselves, just use gear to get where they want to be. It's all drugs, if they look good at all. And they go put novice people, they'll take a 35-year-old housewife and they'll put her on a bro split, doing mostly cables and dumbbells and machines. She'll have a leg day, a chest day, a back day. I mean, stuff that's completely inappropriate for drug-free novices. Probably the least effective resistance training you could possibly do. And then they don't even teach them the basic exercises. And if these people do, they don't teach them right. And it's because they have some weird background from the bro bodybuilding culture that they think that they're suddenly qualified to actually help people get quick results. And we see it all the time. You see it all the time in gyms, and it's just downright scary, the level of incompetence. The level of incompetence. And I don't know what we do about that, because part of the problem is that people say, well, we just need to have a big national certification. Well, who decides what the certification entails? That's kind of the other problem with that too. What if the people who decide the national certification of what it entails are people who believe in bro splits and cables? You see the problem there? Then all of a sudden you're going to see the worst stuff being actually taught as the required curriculum and knowledge for licensing. So that's not a solution either. I think the solution is, again, education. The solution is education into the training world, so that we get rid of a lot of this silly bro nonsense and teach people what actually matters, so that is what culture carries over to personal trainers, so that people are actually getting value for the money they're spending on these people. I think that's probably the best solution, right? That's how we fix it. Just my opinion on it, though. But yeah, I mean, at the very least, I'm going to say, at the very least, a personal trainer needs to know how to teach the squat, the deadlift, the press, the bench press, and a barbell row. and they need to know how to program them for progression. Right? That needs to be the bare minimum that anyone needs to know how to do to be teaching clients anything. If they want to do other stuff, that's fine. But that's your bread and butter. That's what's going to get most people the quickest results safely, and that's going to carry over into all their other day-to-day activities. That's really what most of these clients, 90+% of people who are hiring personal trainers, that's what they need. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.